It's like Santa Claus. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday edition of In No Particular Order. We're talking about Kyle's magnificent beard growth that's going on. It's
Roll.
it's glorious. It's glorious. Today, hey Courtney. Today we are going to be mock drafting musicians, any time period, any era, any. What up, Shannon? Oh, bye, Shannon.
Oh, hi.
Shannon.
That was my bad.
That's okay.
Right,
Any time period, any era, it's musicians that you are going to form a band with. So you can have all guitar players, you can have all singers, you can have all drummers, you can have all whatever. The drafting order will be Dan, the B League, will go first. Bob, Football Diehard, will go second. Kyle, Sinra Says, will go third. Shannon, Americana, Alan, each Instagram influencer will go last. And I will go next to last because I didn't know. Unless you want to go next to last, Shannon. I wasn't sure.
Oh, no, I don't care. I was just laughing at you calling me an influencer.
You aren't. You influence me. So, And Jamie has entered the chat. What up, Jamie? All right. So, Dan, drum roll, please. Start us off. Who is your first 101 musician for your band?
I would like to say a drum roll is the perfect introduction because I'm actually going to pick a drummer. Yeah, I'm going to start with my flex position first. So I thought it would be interesting to build from the back and move forward in this position. So I actually thought, what better way can we get someone who's multi-talented, is a bit of a storyteller, can do a lot of everything, and he can sell out stadiums and do everything. My first pick, the 101, I am going to select from the Foo Fighters, Mr. David Grohl. Yes.
Nice.
We're taking him away from the front because I've got other options, but I know in terms of what he can do, and if anyone has seen the Skin and Bones tour, I actually got to go to the Skin and Bones tour. They did an acoustic set at the Sydney Opera House, maybe around 2003. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And watching him perform that intimate up close, it was like a candlelight thing. It's just iconic for what it was. And to see him operate the way he did, I'm going to throw him up the back because I've got other options now with the field. I can pick a bass, guitar, keyboard if I had to, vocalist. I have got the back one. I have got my backing guy there with David Grohl. If I want to get him up the front for some extra power, I can do that. Dave Grohl 101, off we go.
Nice pick. Dan wins because of his accent. Jamie says, Courtney, you can have 3 singers, you can have 5 guitarists. It doesn't matter. It's your band. You do whatever you want. Hello,
creativity,
Terry.
yo.
Okay. Creativity, yo. Hello, Terry. Mr. Hess, who is your 101?
So I was considering all the different approaches. I told you I have done one of these in the past on Sirius XM on one of the music channels, and I totally boggled everybody's mind by going with a all thrash band. Made a joyous thrash outfit. It was incredible, unstoppable. No one could even come close to competing with it. In this draft, I'm doing something different. Okay. I'm going with everybody who I'm going to pick plays fantasy football because that's what I do for a living, fantasy football. So all the musicians I select today will be fantasy participants and very good ones, high-end players. And I'll start with my lead vocalist, one Michael Bublé, who is such an intense fantasy player. There was a point where he wanted to get into a league that I host on Sirius, the Alice in Chains and Friends League. To do that, I made him sing metal music to me a cappella on my radio show, which he did, singing Nazareth Razzmatazz a cappella. And by the way, he is super competitive. All these people I'm going to pick are like intensely competitive, play really close, pay really close attention to what's going on. Well, all of them except one. One struggles to keep up. But other than that, they're all very intense players.
Nice pick.
I wonder if he's going to reveal which one struggles to keep up too. Is that going to be our little secret?
I am. No, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to give it up.
That's out of left field. Michael Bublé is pretty out of left field.
Fresh metal to Michael Bublé.
I think crush on us. Fusion.
I love that.
Kyle.
Well, I think it's funny because the first thing Dan says, I'm going to go with a flex position. And I actually kind of went into this thinking I would do the same. And so just to cover basically 3 different instruments in theory, I'm going to take Matthew Bellamy from Muse. So he is the lead singer of Muse. He also plays guitar and proficient piano player as well. And the wide variety of genres that Muse hits is so varied. I mean, he's done these like Renaissance style vocal a cappella pieces on Muse albums at the same time as just these like heavy, basically metal riffs and wild solos. And so his versatility alone is fantastic. He can orchestrate vocals as well. So he works well with other different singers in case I want to approach with different vocalists. So I feel like I've got a guitarist, I've got a keyboardist, I've got a singer already. It kind of frees me up to do whatever I want afterwards. And I love Muse. So Matthew Bellamy's the pick here.
I do love Muse. I love the rendition of Nina Simone. I love them. Okay, my turn. I'm also going with the drummer first. No, I'm not. You know what? I'm going Jimi Hendrix guitar. That's what I want before he gets taken. I want Hendrix, mainly because, like I said, I am not a musician, so I am picking clearly by aesthetics, and I don't think you can get any more oomph on a guitar, put him out in front, than Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix would be my 101 pick for my band.
So just to add something in the chat, Courtney's asking, wish I could have joined y'all. Like, are you unavailable to join Courtney? I'm sure Gladys will say it's totally fine if Courtney.
Yeah, come on in, Courtney.
Yeah, some of us are in our cars.
I'll go, Courtney, I'll send you the invite on Twitter.
Who's in the car? I can't tell. Shannon.
Yeah, I look like I'm
She's at work. Never mind. Sorry, I sent it anyway. Sorry to give you a false hope, Courtney. I'll talk to you Monday. I'll talk to you in the chat.
I'm sorry,
I've got
Shannon.
glasses on, like I'm about to do some rant about the state of the world. I've been saying this for years. You're all finally catching on. So I'm going to go with my 101. I'm also going to start in the back with a drummer, but someone who I just think is, a top pick for me personally, because I think they're just a great composer and can really get you in so many different ways. It's Mr. Phil Collins.
Damn. Okay.
That's my first pick.
So I should have gone
Not
with the
gonna lie,
drummer first.
the way Dan was describing Dave Grohl, I almost thought he was talking about Phil Collins for a sec. So
I did too.
I'm not surprised you went in the first.
I was like, he's making me like this? It's just starting off like this?
Phil Collins. Okay. Anyway.
Jamie
Wow.
might win the draft for this answer, to be honest.
No, Taco from the league, no. He does not win
And
the
like
draft for that.
Bob, another Canadian, another fantasy football player, although it does seem like Taco might be more on the one you got to call out for not being active. But yeah, I love that pick, Jamie.
Shannon, another one.
Okay, so with great consternation, I have two choices here, and I'm going to go with guitarist here, and I think there's an obvious choice. But I'm going to do something different because of and I can't mention the other one, but they both have just iconic guitars. But I'm going to go with Zakk Wylde for guitarist.
Stole one of my guys. I've been sniped.
Listen, I was in the trees the whole time, had you in my scopes.
Son of a.
I know. You know what? The other pick is great, and someone else is going to make that pick. But I felt confident that like now's the time for me to make this pick because I was afraid he was going to get sniped from me. And you know what? Good on me for making this pick. You're welcome. Not a problem. I can't even look you in the eyes right now because I'm in traffic.
So I'm going to tell you, Zach used to have a radio show on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. He talked about fantasy sports. He was totally into it. He's less into it now, but he still is a badass guitar player. It is totally over the top, fantastic human. And if you talk to him for 5 minutes, you will walk away kind of like shaking your head at all the nonsense that he can spew in that short a period of time.
I love hearing this. It makes me feel better about my pick and the eventual knowing that I'm going to have this pick.
Boy, it's a good thing I have some fallbacks in place. Damn it.
Well, you can't cry about it now, Bob. You could have in the past, but now there are no more tears.
I got something you can fall back on.
I see what you did there. That was impressive. The no more tears.
All right. It is my pick. I'm going drummer now. It's between two drummers. One I don't think is going to get taken, so I could technically get two drummers. But I'm going to go Cindy Blackman, who was in Lenny Kravitz, Going My Way, the drummer. And I do believe she's also married to Carlos Santana. So I'm kind of getting 2 for 1 because I'm thinking she's going to throw Carlos in there. So
Right.
Cindy Blackman is my drummer. That is purely like she's great, but aesthetically, her and Jimi Hendrix on the dais for me is just like I can't even think of it. And Carlos behind playing. So yeah, Cindy Blackman drummer.
Aesthetically for the ears too, because
Yes, yes.
Jimmy's not just an aesthetic appearance pick. Like he's an incredible
Neither is she.
producer, and her as well. With
Yeah,
totally, especially Hendrix, just genre changing.
Mm. I love them both.
For the draft, here, Gladys.
Thanks, Kyle. What up, Courtney?
What up, guys?
Courtney, you want to pick 2 real quick?
All right, so thank you for letting me come join you, by the way. I'm totally at work and really hoping that nobody comes and bothers me in my office for a few minutes.
Courtney's a nurse, you guys, so it could get really interesting, actually.
And you're totally right, but I'm in my office, so it shouldn't be a bad thing. But all right, my 101, and it's probably not on a lot of people's list, but for me it is. I'm a hippie, and he, in my opinion, and what is one of the greatest of all times, and I'm going with Mr. Jerry Garcia. He can play the guitar, he can sing, he writes songs like there's nobody's business, and he is an icon for, years and generations to come. So that is what I am going with. And I'm also, let's see, I haven't researched much, but I mean, this is just so much fun to me because I am such a music fiend. So, by the way, I loved the Dave Grohl pick, and I also loved the Phil Collins pick. That was actually while I was watching. I thought the same thing. I thought you were going with Phil Collins when you were talking about Dave Grohl, 100%.
For some reason, Dan, we see you as a Phil Collins guy. Take whatever you will.
Phil Collins is underrated, y'all. He's totally underrated. Let's get serious here. Okay, so I am going to go with. Hold on. I am going to go with. Can we pick dead people? Obviously, I did. I just did. I put Jerry Garcia. Sorry.
Hendrix,
look, it's been a long day, y'all. I'm going with Keith Moon for my drummer.
Nice.
Who? I'm just kidding.
Bum. All right.
All right. Now, Kyle.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I assume Shannon's video is delayed.
No, I don't think.
No, it's not. That was the joke.
I didn't say it total confusion. Or I could have said who. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the guy that I personally think is my favorite guitar player ever. Got the privilege of seeing him live. Can also play a ton of different genres and would also, I think, fit well whenever Matthew Bellamy decides let's compose some Renaissance flamenco style piece. Steve Howe would totally be down for that. He would say yes. Absolute all-time favorite band. Again, got to see them, and Steve Howe, probably my all-time favorite musician. And he can just if everyone else is tired, he can just solo guitar for an entire piece, an entire 8-minute composition if you want. So you can just throw that in whenever you need, and just wicked guitar player. The very jazzy-esque tone with still pretty wicked playing. I think it would actually sound really well complementary-wise to how Matthew Bellamy plays guitar. So when they're both playing together, I think they complement each other super well.
Okay.
Steve Howe.
Steve Howe. Got it. Bob.
I'm just going to say Keith Moon, soft spot in my heart. He's why I started playing the drums. Everyone else will say John Bonham, who I loved as well. But Keith Moon, I was the only kid in Tucson, Arizona with a double kick Premier drum set, which was not hard to find, an English drum set in Arizona, but it happened. And so I'm going to go here with some guitars. I'll have a number of guitar players. I'm going to start out with the most obvious one. I talked about the Alice in Chains League, Jerry Cantrell, the leader of that band, and a great fantasy player, a fan of two teams, the Seahawks and the Steelers of Pittsburgh. Loves them both equally. Great fantasy player, though. Super knowledgeable about football, understands the nuances of the game, understands the nuance of the fantasy game as well, and a super nice guy. So Jerry Cantrell will be my guitar player. Might pitch in with a little vocals, too.
Well, I was going to say Cantrell and Bublé together, the harmonies would be amazing. Cantrell would do that his whole career. So I would love to hear that.
Sounds like a party.
Dan? You have 2 picks, sir.
I am going to go a bass player up now. I am going to go. Partly one because I like my bass players to be a little bit. I want them to be nutbags. I really want them to be a little bit off. I think they're the best ones, the ones that are a little crazy. And also because maybe he might be from Australia and maybe we share a birthday. But I am going to go from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea. That's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with Flea to pair up with
Flea? Damn it. Damn it.
Who'd you go with?
Flea.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he plays trumpet. So in case you need a trumpet player,
Yeah.
he's your man.
And I also want to say he doubles down with keyboards as well. So I've got my keyboard, my trumpet, and bass player paired up with my drummer who plays guitars and sings. I feel like I could just wrap it up at that point. I'd send them on their way. But you know, you got your very calm bass players that stand there and move around. I want this guy just to put a head through a wall, and that is my Flea, and that's what we're going with. I'm going to lean into my guitarist now. I feel like he's incredibly underrated, and I'm not the music guy in here, so I'm not going to even speak on it. But for what it's worth, I think he's incredible because you can see him play funk, you can see him play like rock, you can see him get into everything. I think Tom Morello, I'm taking him with my 3-1. I'm a big fan of the man himself. So I've got Grohl with Morello and Flea. I think it's a bit of a power group. I'm not going to lie. I can feel the stage starting to sell. I feel good.
That's a great pick.
That is a great pick.
Morello, also known to play a little fantasy sports.
I didn't want. If I I apologize, man. I know the ratchet guy.
I got plenty of options at guitar.
Listen,
Well,
I've
it's
got
amazing that so many people love fantasy football. That's the lesson here. There's always people that play fantasy.
You know, I also think with the current climate, to get a Harvard graduate in there too, come louder. I feel like that's the way to do it. So I've got Morello to back us up and all the PR work too. I've really put thought into that. So I like my 3 at the moment. We're feeling good.
I like your 3 because 2 of them were my picks, but that's okay. Bob.
I'm going to go ahead and just grab an obvious bass player here. Again, another member of Alice in Chains. Also, good connection to Zakk Wylde. He was in Ozzy's band with Zakk Wylde for the No More Tears tour back in the day. And most recently, if you were watching the PBS special with Elton John being honored, Mike Inez sat in with Elton John's band for that show as well. Mike Inez of Alice in Chains, a diehard Raiders fan who has some of the most creative team names you will ever hear for his fantasy teams. Los Testiculos Diablos is my next pick.
That's nice. Kyle.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with my other favorite guitar player. And for, I would argue, I mean, Dan took someone who, like, guitar tone-wise, the sounds, the solos, just insane. Some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard are Tom Morello's solos. But both, I think that the master of the guitar tone knows how to, have just the perfect tone to rip a solo, hold the note for as long as he can, and just let the song breathe. Let the sound of the guitar breathe. And he's also an incredible singer, so I've got someone who could double with Matthew Bellamy, either could be the lead singer and support each other well. I'm going to go David Gilmour.
I'm sorry, who?
David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Man, you said tone. I thought someone else. We'll see.
Darn you, Kyle.
All right, so Courtney's a Pink Floyd fan.
Courtney,
But yeah,
you can use the F word.
Courtney, it's actually your turn.
Well, I honestly was going to take Mr. David Gilmour there, but now we'll have to flip it around and take him off my list. So this is a tough one. I feel like I try to, best player available here. I feel like I got to go with, this is tough. You know what? It's a toss. And I'm going to go with, this is tough. Oh, I have so many on here. I'm going to go with just, I feel like one of those guys that we can throw in, great guitar player, again, singer-songwriter, but also just the presence on stage, the history there. And the other thing is, in reality, he started playing the bass in the beginning. So let's go with Mr. Paul McCartney. I'm sorry, Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Are you sure he's alive?
Doesn't matter. He can be dead.
Okay, look. I've been on the floor since 6 a.m., okay? Don't give me that.
My mind's still on a conspiracy theory episode I heard somewhere.
Yeah, you are. I think you are. I think you still are.
It's funny. We've had so many callbacks to previous episode. Danny's attempt to make Santana a one-hit wonder, for instance.
Oh my.
We've now created our own
Yeah.
lore.
All right. My turn. I'm going to go with the trumpet player. I'm going Miles Davis.
Wow.
Because he can compose. And for Blackman and Hendrix and Carlos Santana, who I'm still maintaining will be part of the band just by association.
No, Miles Davis, though, not Miles, the 6-year-old kid from TikTok that Jamie's taking.
Both. If I can get both,
Drafted.
yes.
We'll say drafted.
I'm take both. I'll take both. I don't. Miles
Okay,
Davis.
fair enough.
Shannon.
Okay, so I'm going to use the word flex pick here. And I'm going to go, because this is like a plug and play thing. I'm going to have them on, I guess, like synth and keys and such. And I feel like this is a high quality pick. But I'm going to go with Mr. Trent Reznor.
Ooh, nice.
I want some
9
sounds.
else.
I want some sounds coming out, you know?
Dabbled in drums too, and yeah, he can basically play everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. He can play everything.
I like this.
I like that pick. Oh, but you have one more. Oh, wait.
I do have one more.
You do
Okay,
have one more.
so I'm going to go with I'm going to do this because one of my favorite bands, and they do have good bass throughout their discography, and it's I think his name's Nathan Followill. It's the cousin from Kings of Leon, and I think it's Nathan
Okay.
is the bass player there. That's gonna be my bass player.
From the Kings of Leon?
He has some wicked bass lines. Super melodic.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite member of that band.
Because they
Alright.
have some real good bass lines in every album, and they're simple, but I'm in for it.
All right, then I'm going to go bass since bass players seem to be falling by the wayside. I'm going to go with Louis Johnson. He played the bass on Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, Off the Wall, and he's on Michael McDonald's Keep Forgetting. So Louis Johnson is my bass player.
Before we go any further, I will clear. It's Jared Followell who's the bass.
Jared, that's it. Not Nathan.
They're all Followell, so it's they'll all fall in line eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney.
Okay. So it is I feel like every good band needs a female voice that can steal the show and that can really just be the face of the band. Because let's get serious. I mean, Paul McCartney and Jerry Garcia aren't the best things to look at, and I need to bring the ticket sales in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we are going to go with one of the queens, Miss Janis Joplin.
Ooh. Nice. Nice pick. I like it. I like it a lot. Kyle, what you got?
I don't know what I got, but you know what? I do know what I've got because
Okay.
Gladys, you inspired me with the Miles Davis pick. And kind of let's explore not a brass instrument, but a woodwind instrument. And Miles Davis, the most successful album, Kind of Blue, also featured on tenor sax John Coltrane. So we're going
Nice.
to sax
And
player.
that just take one of mine off.
This
but that's
band
okay.
just got a lot saxier.
Oh.
God.
My puns just will get worse. So.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
I leave you alone for 4 months, Kyle. I leave you alone.
This is how I was 4 months ago. Nothing's changed. You thought I'd
Okay.
get better, didn't you? No.
That's
Yeah.
accurate.
Oh, Jamie is drafting himself. That would be.
A 60-second song about 10 years ago. Difficult. Oh, yeah. Okay, Jimmy. Bob.
I will go with my second bass player because Lord knows I need one. You know him but he's also a multi-instrumentalist, a great songwriter, and a fantasy player, although he is the guy who will draft a kicker way before you should draft a kicker because he's more a Seahawks fan than he is a fantasy player. In fact, he has a ringer often draft for him. Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses will be joining the fray. And he's learning, though. He's gotten better every year, but still, his ringer. What he's best known for is having the best ringer you will ever have draft for you.
I would like to hear this ringer now.
He's out there on Twitter. Maybe I'll reveal him at some point.
Okay.
We should give him his roses.
I do in private.
If we could gun down that.
Dan.
I am going to finally head up my lead singer. I think that's what we need to go with. Someone that can rock out a bit, a little bit of as she's known for, a little mayhem. I am going to go with some Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. If you know,
Woo.
she's sensational.
Damn.
I feel like the reason for this is she is stunning, but she can wail. She's got an incredible vocal range. But I've got Grohl, I've got Flea, and I've got Morello, and I think they could promote her up to the next level. She's now, I believe, with Skid Row. She's now touring with them to fill in. I think Lizzie Hale could be the next big thing that we don't know about, and we've got the stadium shirts ready to go. I'm a big fan.
Go out and Google right now. It was a COVID thing where the little collab, and it was Lizzie Hale on lead vocals. They were doing Thin Lizzie's Bad Reputation. It was Phil Demmel on guitar from Machine Head. It was Inez, the bass player that I've mentioned before. It was McLean, formerly the drummer for Machine Head, and who is the Priest guitarist that replaced KK? Richie Faulkner. Unbelievable vocals of Lizzie Hale on that. So over the top. The best collab of all over the course of many collabs.
Yeah,
Right.
she that spotlight finds her, and that's a hard thing for anyone up the front. She doesn't go looking; it finds her. She is sensational. I will say that.
Fantastic.
So, okay, 4th round. We're going into the 5th round before he picks. Everyone has got kind of like a theme going on here, except for no, everyone does. Everyone has a. Dan is mayhem. Like his people are like Bob is what?
But just think, Lizzie Hale turns around. There's Dave Grohl. There
And
we go.
Flea.
Go.
And Flea.
I've got I'm there.
Bob, I'm not really sure because you have Michael Bublé. Is he doing Bublé stuff or is he doing hard rock stuff?
I mean, I think in this band he's going to be a little rockier than maybe his normal thing. I'm just going to say. And again, I auditioned him singing the metal a cappella. Does a fantastic job. I can vouch for him.
All right, so Bob's got the rock with the possibility of the mellow going in.
I feel like I cornered myself because, like, some of my pieces were taken. I'm going with all fantasy players that I know are fantasy players, and the list is getting thin. So I'm gonna have to hustle a little bit at the end here.
Kyle, how would you describe yours?
Well, I just have 3 of my favorite guitar players, so I figured they could figure it out. It'd be like it's very much, I think, what I would love to see is a new version of It Might Get Loud, when Jack White, The Edge, and Jimmy Page kind of collaborated, did 3 guitar things. I mean, Gilmour, Howe, Bellamy. I mean, Gilmour and Howe from the same era. They're kind of rose from us around the same time, but it's still 3 different sounding guitar players. I feel all 3 complement each other.
Courtney is definitely going with the hippie theme, the
I am.
early rock, which I like, I dig. I have kind of the jazz funk thing going on. Shannon,
I've
my
just got
dear.
sounds coming out. And some of it's going to be weird. Some of them are going to be some weird sounds.
We like weird sounds.
I don't know how Phil.
Rainbow.
I don't know how Phil Collins and Trent Reznor are going to cooperate.
That'd be the best collaboration ever. Dan, for round 5, who do you have?
How many more rounds have I got?
You got 2 plus an honorable mention.
2 plus. Oh, well, I've got the honorable mention. I am going to go into this thinking, and part of me was like, Hale was easy to pick, but I thought, how do I get into like other markets? That was my mindset here. How do I get into Europe? How do I get into Australia? How do I get through that area? I'm going to go with someone that's dead, Jamie. Thank you for asking. I know you've been looking for someone else that's dead to talk about here. So I am going to go with an Aussie who was an icon, probably a sex icon through the 80s and 90s, had an incredible voice, oozed sex appeal. I'm going with Michael Hutchence.
Yep.
Nice. And he did do sex appeal.
In excess.
You can't hear that voice and not drop your pants. That's where I'm at in life.
I just thought about it. My pants fell off.
I didn't know he was Australian.
Oh,
Wait, you guys drive with pants on?
Yeah.
To be fair, none of us are driving except you.
That's
You
right,
don't
well,
know that.
You learn something new every day.
Hutchins went before his time. It's a shame.
That
Yeah.
for fifth pick, that's awesome.
Oh,
Bob,
sorry, I was confused. Are we doing 7 rounds, then honorable mentions, or is it
Yep.
6?
7 rounds, honorable mention, and an honorable mention. So you have 2 more picks and an honorable mention. 3 picks.
Well, 3 more picks. 5th, right?
2 picks plus an honorable mention. That's 3 picks.
So it's
2
it is-
official
so
picks.
it's 6, then honorable mention.
Bob, who do you have?
I'm gonna go with my first drummer. I've talked about the Allison Chains League draft. The trophy is named after this drummer, the late great Vinnie Paul, who multiple champion of that league, known for his time in Pantera, along with his brother Dimebag Darrell, Phil Anselmo, and Rex Brown. Just saw them recently with the great Zach Wilde filling in for the late Dimebag and doing a great job. Charlie Benante also sitting in from Anthrax. We'll have a connection there in a minute too. But Vinnie Paul, great player. I interviewed him a number of times. Super friendly, one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to hear about, and loved his Dallas Cowboys in fantasy football.
Hemmington Dallas Cowboys. Kyle.
Groovy pick, Bob. All right.
Kyle,
well,
I love it that you amuse yourself. That's like the best thing ever.
I figured maybe someone else will be amused. Probably not, though. Oh, and yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I love this pick. JB going Doug Flutie. Incredible quarterback. Robbed of his chance to be a Bill starter in the playoffs. Sorry, but yeah, also a drummer. And his man with his brother. And his brother, Darren Flutie, was also a really good wide receiver. Played for the Tigers
True.
a ton. So go Ticats. All right, well, I'm going to go with, I got to fill out my rhythm section now. I'm going to go with bass player. There's 2 I really want to take. And actually, because I know Bob's a huge fan of this band, so I almost thought he might take them at one point, but I'm going to go with probably my favorite bass player ever, Justin Chancellor from the band Tool.
Can't go wrong there.
Some of the best bass lines I've ever heard, some of the best bass solos I've ever heard. So yeah, I think he would fit in really well with this band. I think he and Gilmore would get along really well in terms of tones and stuff, and I think they would jive super well.
Courtney.
Okay, so I mean, I could break off and pull out some of my, alternative bands. Y'all been covering that really well, so I feel like I'm just gonna stick with the, because I was thinking Dave Navarro, to be over there on the side, just because he's such a good guitarist and he's so easy on the eyes. But I digress, okay? And I've seen Jane's Addiction multiple times, and I'm just like, oh god, he's so good looking. But let's stick with our hippie theme here, and I'm going to go with Mr. Greg Allman. He is not only a vocalist, but he is a great pianist, so great keyboard. So now I have that down over there, and he's very versatile, and so he can do a lot of the stuff. I mean, he played, one of the founding members of the Allman Brothers, and so, I feel like he is a no-brainer here for me to add to my amazing team / band.
It is amazing team / band. All right. I'm going to go back to the drums. So I'm going to have 2 drummers.
Wow. I love it.
Very Doobie Brothers of you.
I'm going to go Sheila E. Because I need Sheila E. and Cindy Blackman to have the look of the band that I need, and they're both excellent drummers. So Sheila E. is my pick for the 5th round. Shannon.
Okay, so I was really thinking I was going to go with a vocalist here who is a lady, but I've since changed my mind because I looked at my list again. So I think I'm going to go with Chris Cornell.
Oh, yes.
He is so good looking.
Best voice
so
in
good
rock
looking.
ever,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And a wicked guitar player too. So
Exactly. So I think Chris Cornell is a great pick. Again, I want some sounds coming out. There's some sounds that can come out of that guy.
Certainly a garden of sounds from him.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I
can't
put
believe
that one on the tee. I put that one on the tee.
You
I
gotta stop
apologize
that,
to
Kyle.
everybody. That's my bad. Please forgive me.
Well, luckily we only have 2 more picks left. I can't possibly know you all that much in that time.
I'm gonna let Dan answer that one because Shannon, you're next.
I'm sorry, everyone. That's my bad for doing that. Just gave you that one.
You did. Okay.
No, when you put it out there for him, let him hit it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna add another guitarist,
Okay.
and I'm going to add Prince as the guitarist.
Oh. Damn it.
Wow,
Great
the
pick.
Damn
guitar,
it.
I should probably have Prince up there with his guitar. Kyle, here you go. By all means.
I was just gonna say it's another flex position because he can play every instrument as well. So it's
That's kind of
so
what I'm
much
going
versatility.
with. Like, I have a bunch of people who can really just make sounds, and like that's what I'm going.
Several
with.
good
That's-
vocalists too, so you can.
Yeah.
I always love bands with multiple great vocalists. The harmonies,
And there's gonna be some harmony there. It might seem, I guess I'm not going very specialist with this, but going kind of broad. But I feel like that it's gonna work out just fine.
I think it's going to work out perfectly. I'm going to have to put a singer in there, and I'm going to stick with my theme. I'm putting Frank Sinatra as my singer.
That's fair.
Thank you. I think that him and Miles, Jimmy, Sheila E., they can all, and Cindy, and Carlos Santana, they can all make beautiful, beautiful music. Because Frank Sinatra could, like, make his way around any kind of genre, so to speak. And I think that we are covering pretty much the genres that, My Kind of Town, New York, that kind, and he's going to be fine with that. Courtney.
Okay, so before anybody snags him, he does not so much fit with my hippie theme, but he does, depending on how you look at it. But I just, all of a sudden, it clicked in my head, and I was like, wait a minute, why has no one taken him yet? Just as soon as you said Prince, I was like, I have to take it. I don't even know how else to describe it or why I'm taking it, but he has to be taken, and he has to be on my team. That's Mr. Bob Marley.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Nice
No.
pick. Nice pick.
It's me now, right?
I have actually someone from Bob Marley's band, but it's a nice pick. Good. Kyle.
Pat yourself on the back, Gladys. It's great. You're doing a fantastic job hosting, by the way.
Yeah.
As always. So I got to draft my drummer now. So on the drums, I'm gonna go with Mike Portnoy. Adds certainly the heaviness of this,
Goes for the super drummers. It's a nice call.
and then I feel like he's fairly versatile. There's a lot of really interesting rhythmic things. So
Yeah, if we go in odd time signatures, he's one of our guys.
yeah, right. Justin Chancellor's there too, so they work well. And Cole
Danny
Taylor's on that.
Carey, Mike Mangini, the whole crew.
And honestly, I almost went Danny Carey, but I kind of wanted to add people that maybe didn't necessarily play together, so kind of limited to one person per band.
Fair enough.
Mike Portnoy.
Bob.
I'm going to go with a rhythm guitar player. Most people hear that words and they think probably Malcolm Young of AC/DC, or maybe not. And I think of him too. But in this case, I'm sticking with the fantasy football world. And I'm going with, I mentioned Charlie Benante earlier, the drummer for Anthrax. Scott Ian, also in Anthrax. And maybe one of the best rhythm guitarists ever to live. The riffage is amazing. The fantasy football skills are on point. And just a super nice guy. Also, just an aside, his father-in-law, the late great Meatloaf, one of the best fantasy football players ever. You let Meatloaf in your league, he would tell you, well, you're not going to want to play against me. Like, you're like really super low key. And then he would come in and he would demolish you. So Scott Ian learned from his father-in-law and carries the tradition, the family tradition on.
Now, and Bob, does this also cross over with your previous draft? Because as soon as you said like you drafted an all thrash band, my first thought was
Scott Ian was in
Ian
that
Scott
band.
is his rhythm guitarist.
He was in that band as well. Yes.
So you get to cross over and call back.
Yes. And Eddie Trunk roundly applauded my selection. Eddie Trunk was totally on board with my team. Everyone else was a little confused.
He's got even better beard than me. I know.
Yes,
I was
he does.
commenting Earlier.
Dan.
All right, I'm getting super cute with this pick, but I've got reasons for it. I feel like my team is just a sellout team. That's great. We've got the stadium, 110,000 packed in at AT&T. I'm very happy with that. But what's better than having AT&T for 2.5 hours? It's having it for 5. So what I'm doing is I'm adding in a DJ who knows how to collab with these guys. That's not some incredible collabs, but I can get another 5 hours of concessions and merch sales out the door. I'm going Steve Aoki. That's where I'm going.
Nice. I love Steve Aoki.
That's what I'm here to do. We're going to get some collabs. We're going to get some remixes. We're going to keep the party going. And if there's anything, kids are going to they're going to be geared up. I'm going to get another 400 per person in merch sales, and I feel like it's just going to pay for itself. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. That's totally fine, Courtney. Totally fine.
I've got an honorable mention now, right?
Your last. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your last pick of the 7th round, and then you have an honorable mention. So you have 2 more picks.
Well, I really just stopped there, but okay. So if I had to go somewhere and get Granger with everything, I heard his name mentioned before, and I did mention it before, but I'm going to run with Elton John. I don't think I have to say any more with that. I just feel like he's just going to mix with everything. I heard the name mentioned, and it was like down before, and I was like.
That's because that was going to be my keyboardist.
Could you imagine Elton John in there with Aoki? That's where I'm at.
Also another sir.
Is DJ Chark?
Yeah.
Because that's where Jamie thought you were going for some reason.
Jamie's
He
killing
went
it.
Deion Sanders.
Jamie's
I don't know.
killing it in the
Is
comments.
DJ Chark a better musician than Deion Sanders?
Jamie always kills it in the comments.
Oh yeah, Jamie.
And then you get him on, and he's like becomes this introvert who's like doesn't want to say anything.
Like me.
All right, Bob. Who's your 6th, 7th pick?
It's so I need another drummer, I guess, because I'm sticking with my theme. And this man is a good friend. He does some unique things in his drafts kickers early on purpose, intentionally. He is convinced that the kicker will win you a couple games this year. Justin Tucker is his guy, and he'll go in the single-digit rounds to get him. But like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. You might know him from a band called the Stray Cats. My rockabilly buddy, Slim Jim Phantom, fantasy maven, and just an all-around good dude.
I love Stray Cats. I did not know Slim Jim was a fantasy person, though.
He is a fantasy person. He's had a show on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio as well. And he also has one on the Little Stevie's station right now, a nice rockabilly show. So you should dial that up. One of the great, the Head Cats, Lemmy playing bass and on vocals. I can't remember, I want to say who the guitar player was, but Richard Christie is a friend of mine. I could text him right now. He is a super badass dude and a super badass fantasy player. One of the craziest death metal drummers. When he was in the band Death, he took over for some huge name people. And Richard is like one of the nicest people too. Super cool guy, and love him. And I'm really happy that he has found his home on Sirius with the Stern Show.
All right, Kyle. Last pick before honorable mention.
So I realized I didn't have any females in the band, so thankfully we had.
Way to go, Kyle.
7th round. Well, but that's changing here. And
you're not the only one, though.
I'm hemming and hawing between 2 vocalists who are also incredible keyboard players. One who I'm shocked has lasted this long. I might almost just let her fall through just so I could go with a more obscure choice. I'm going to go with Emily Haynes, lead singer and keyboard player from the band Metric. Go Canada. I also didn't have a Canadian on the list, so I had to at least. But yeah, Emily
2
Haynes.
birds, 1
Actually,
stone.
she's born in India, but Metric's a Canadian band. She grew up in Montreal, so Canadian citizen.
It counts.
But yeah, it'll count enough. But yeah, Emily Haynes from the band Metric.
Hey, Courtney, are you on? Welcome back.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Your turn.
Oh,
Courtney's driving now too with no pants. I love this.
No, I'm here, but let's not. Obviously, I'm gonna kind of watch the road and do this at the same time. So I am gonna go with So honorable mention, is that just like kind of our like taxi stash, or is that like we still want him but no one else took him?
Whatever you want him to be. I think it's more of a taxi stash, but if you want him because no one else took him, that's fine too. But this isn't your honorable mention. This is your last pick of the 7th round.
This is my last pick. So I have one more though, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to take this guy because I can't believe he's still there. Even though I really don't need him, he is that talented that I have to have him. And then my honorable mention will be a second drummer because I know nobody's going to take him. So I'm taking Mr. Eric Clapton.
Yeah. I didn't take him on just personal reasons.
He's too talented. There's no reason that he hasn't gone off the board yet. There's no reason.
Probably because he's a dick, but other than that, no.
But to be fair, I mean, we also know Gladys's thoughts on Paul McCartney. For anyone.
I let it go though, didn't I?
You did, yeah. You couldn't have her draft 2, and it just defended Courtney Heffield. Lewis will maybe be happy. It'll be a little more rotated.
Yes, exactly.
Stay safe, Courtney.
For my last pick, I am going to. Damn, I want to go another drummer, but then I'd have 3 drummers. I'm going Eddie Van Halen on guitar.
Nice.
Thank you.
Way to be
that is a great pick.
Thank you, Courtney. All right, Shannon, your last pick.
This is tough, and it makes the argument harder, but I'm going to keep up with the whole, broad spectrum of people who do absolutely everything. And I'm going with, Kevin Parker, Tame Impala. So, in case you don't know, Tame Impala, like he makes all the music. He plays all the instruments for every song that has ever come out for him, but he just has a band to play those parts. So like he plays all the instruments, he makes all the music for himself that you ever hear out of Tame Impala, and he just has the band members then play it when he's at live shows, basically. So again, another broad spectrum guy who can do absolutely everything. Yeah, he's in the band.
And who would be your honorable mention then?
I was thinking I really need to have Hayden here because I need the lady, but it's gonna be Freddie Mercury.
Nice.
I don't need him. I'm gonna take.
You got a band with Chris Cornell and Freddie Mercury. Those might be the 2 greatest rock singers ever. So yeah.
I
know it's fucked up.
No.
But Freddie Mercury's his honorable mention. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all the rest of
that is not fucked up. That is amazing, and I want to see that show.
Yeah.
I know.
It's fucked up, guys. I know.
All right, for my honorable mention, I'm going to go with actually a friend of the show, Ralphie Dixon, Other Robots. Ralphie plays all the music and he sings. Ralph Dixon, Other Robots is my honorable mention for my band.
Courtney, he couldn't be on this to join us.
Yeah, he got a new job. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's got a new job so he can pay for his guitars and stuff.
Okay. my honorable mention is this is why I left him for honorable mention, because he is a great classic, and I need that second drummer. But I also knew that no one else was going to touch him, so I am going to take founding member of the band, Mr. Levon Helm.
Versatile again.
I mean, look, even in his old days when he was barely hanging on, he was still hitting that drum kit and singing with that raspy country voice. So I will take him all day long. Thank you.
Nice pick.
Another honorary Canadian because he's in a Canadian band.
Kyle.
Oh yeah, Kyle. Right, you were just laughing at me. You were actually saying it's my pick.
Yeah, it's your pick.
Duh. Sorry. Me. Damn, I had something I totally forgot. Oh yeah. No one's picked anyone from Led Zeppelin yet, which I find amazing. And I'm gonna end that here. And I flux in Led Zeppelin. Who's my favorite member of Zeppelin? So sometimes the answer is one, sometimes the answer is the other. But I also realize I don't really have anyone who's a mandolin player. So I'm getting John Paul Jones just for
Fair.
that. And then if I have a second incredible bass player and an incredible keyboard player. That's 3 great keyboardists. Like the possibilities there are wild. So yeah, John Paul Jones.
Your honorable mention.
The honorable John Paul Jones.
The honorable John Paul.
I don't know if he has that title, but he's seems like a righteous dude, apparently.
Bob, your honorable mention.
I feel like I could go in any direction here, but I got to be true to the plan. Like I was thinking, like a great team mascot, Lemmy. Every musician that I've mentioned today loves Lemmy like a brother or a father or something. And then I also thought, like, I don't have any women on my roster. And Slim Jim's wife, the amazing Jenny V, bassist for the Eagles of Death Metal and various other bands, like a true badass. She is amazing. But I'm going to stick true to it. I'm going to bring in another singer, a little bit more obscure, Andy Biersack, a.k.a. Andy Black of Black Veil Brides, a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan, and a notoriously good fantasy football player.
I like your band.
Wait, what's the name of the band?
Black Veil Brides.
Okay.
Kind of
I'll have
glammy metal.
I'll have
And
to look that up.
Andy Black is unbelievably good.
Yeah, he has some great solo stuff too, but that's what he's best known for. That's
said-
his love of the Bengals.
Unbelievably good looking. Is that what you said, Jen?
Well, he's my type.
He's an attractive man.
He's no Chris
There's a
Cornell.
movie,
No one is. No one is.
Peyton.
Okay, yeah. No one is a Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell's super hot, super duper hot. Was super duper hot. Damn.
I think Bob said it best. I think we need a mascot for this team, but I'm looking at this and how I can wrap this whole power group up. And I thought he's only ever played music for about 3 minutes. Then I'm going to go a little bit more obscure. I'm going to go Will Ferrell on cowbell.
God damn.
God.
He's gonna
From the band Blue Oyster Cult, yes.
No, we're going to go viral for about 3 minutes. He's going to pop out. He's going to have the midriff shut on. The cowbell's down. We need more cowbell. I could just see him up there with Elton John and Steve Aoki just going off.
That is
Going to
amazing.
ring home the night with cowbell.
That is amazing.
Where can I buy
I'm
tickets
just-
to your band?
This is where I live in my head.
I would expect nothing less.
Shirts sell themselves. The merch sales. That's what I'm about. We need more cowbell. Out of the cannons, just bang it in the stadium. Fire out cowbells. We're all over it.
That was actually awesome. That was like, I've learned some bands that I need to look up now, which always happens when I'm, bands or movies. Jamie's honorable mention is Kyle Senra. Good job, Jamie.
I can also play cowbell.
Wait, what do you play in your band?
Guitar.
Guitarist Kyle Senra is Jamie's honorable mention, which I think is absolutely fantastic. All right, now, since we have done the band thing, before we go, which I appreciate all of you, it was really great. And I've looked up all these people on Sarah's Radio and listened to them talk about bands and fantasy football, which I'm kind of oddly excited about. I don't know why. Courtney, where can people find you besides the hospital? You do win, Jamie.
Thank you for letting me join. It was such short notice, but I was like, I think I can sneak this in. So
No.
thank you, Gladys. Thank you,
Anytime.
Kyle.
Anytime.
Everyone else, it was a pleasure. You can find me at Going for Two, and you can also find me at Fantasy and Frames. You can find me at Love Tractor 3 on Twitter, and I'm kind of just trying to dabble everywhere. So, but I dabble a lot in the music, and that's what I had to get on for this one. So thank you.
And we appreciate you coming on, Courtney. Anytime, you know that. Thank you for coming on. Kyle, where can we find you, my friend?
Apparently, you can find me in this new band that Jamie created that I'm going to be in with Deion Sanders, Richard Christie, John Lajoie. They had 2 Canadians in the band, and then some random 6-year-old kid on TikTok who's probably going to be way more talented, way more popular than all the rest of us. So, but outside of that band, I'm also in the Yama Yama Sound. And, recently, or soon, coming up. just next Saturday, the 18th, in Sudbury. So anyone in Sudbury, Northern Ontario watching, not sure if anyone is even in the country watching, but if you are, we'll be playing at Science North on the 18th. So check out.
Aren't you on YouTube? Doesn't he have something on YouTube too?
Oh yeah, Patrick's got several YouTube channels. So yeah, you can definitely check out PA the Second, PA.ii on YouTube, and then there's some live videos. You can see me in some of them as well. But I'm also co-host here on the Going for Two Live Network. Courtney and I will be co-hosting the 2 Point Conversion for the rest of this off season, and we're coming on just next week. So next Monday, what day is that? That's the 13th, May 13th. Yep. So Courtney and I we'll talk about rookie drafts. I think, I don't know, we hadn't decided a topic yet, so I guess the suspense is you'll have to find out to know what we're talking about.
I mean, I feel like the rookie draft is as good as any. It's crazy right now where people are going and where people aren't going that you expect them to. So let's dial that out.
All right, so we're talking rookie drafts on the 2 Point Conversion next Monday. And but honestly, Courtney, just this episode's inspiring. Maybe we should do a music episode at some point in the future.
100%. I'm in.
All right. So look for that in the off season, and just check out the Going for Two Live YouTube channel. There's all sorts of great shows every night of the week, including tonight we're on here. This was fantastic. A lot of great people. Next show, I guess, is Dynasty Saturday Night 5. So check out in about 48 hours.
What's Jamie's show?
The Fantasy Cheat Sheet. They'll be on next Tuesday. Yeah. So next Monday, you've got the 2 Point Conversion, Fantasy Cheat Sheet, Armchair Show, of course, as always, Jeff Lambert, our founder here at Going for Two. Thank you for giving us this network and allowing us to talk, and for me to make all these awful jokes and make everyone groan and be all upset and stuff. Dan, can't wait to co-host again with you during the season. You'll love talking to me every week, won't you?
Dan, where are you? You're doing what show now? Are you still doing best ball?
I am doing the B League's Best Ball show.
I hate best ball. Can you do something else so I can watch you?
Sure. There we go. Yeah, so I have been doing that this off season. It's I try not to do it every. It's just there's so much that's going on. I just try to stay out of everyone's way. It's the off season. If you're listening to me, there's a problem. So you can find me at the B League Says. I refuse Twitter now. That's it. I'm out. I'm there. Sometimes I am in Discord because I feel safe there. There's like a few people there. That's it. No one bothers me. It's great. I really am not built for this. So I am doing off-season best ball work for the Going for Two network, which is fantastic. I should be going again this week or every other week, closer towards the season. And I am with the Dynasty Rewind as well, doing that over with their Patreon group, which is still fantastic too. So outside of that, I am just a happy bystander listening to everyone and what they do. It's a great
Dan, what day is your show on, hun?
I don't know. I really
You don't know?
Most of the time, my show is called Test because I still don't know how to change the name of the. Thank you, Jamie, for bringing that up.
Only you can change it to Test Show.
No.
What day? It doesn't have a date.
My day during my prop show during the year pops off on a Wednesday, but the best ball shows are when I have time. It just goes off on a Sunday, pops off on a Wednesday, the podcast version as well. So whenever I think I might do a show tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do one. That's how I'm.
So what's really important, folks, is not only subscribing to the Going for Two Live YouTube page, but also get that notification bell because you never know when Dan's going to go live. If you want to join him live, need that bell.
I've been very clear about how this off season is going to work. I'm going to turn up, I'm going to do a show, and then you'll never hear from me for another few weeks, and then I'm going to do it again, and we'll see what happens. It's a beautiful.
I like that
thing.
plan. It's a great plan.
It's great. Yeah,
It's a great plan. Bob.
I heard somebody say best ball, so I was checking my 17 ongoing drafts at the moment.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like a slacker compared to my serious co-host Mike Dempsey, who is heading for 200 so far this off season, and will easily hit 1,000.
How?
We start early.
Oh my gosh.
January?
Right after the Super Bowl. Right after the Super Bowl. As soon as they open the doors.
200.
We're in there.
February 19th.
You want to be steeped in the subject. You soak in it all year round. Anyway, you can find me at footballguys.com, doing all kinds of things there, including a little stuff on the video on the Audibles channel Great outfit there, and catch me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. This time of year, it's once a week, but baseball season ends there very soon, and there will be a lot more football, and we'll bump up to pretty much every day once we head into the summer. So check that out. The show is Football Diehards, and you can follow me on the X machine at Football Diehard.
And I can attest, that is a great show, the football show, not the baseball.
It's been great when you've been on it, especially.
That's when it kind of loses a little luster. Shannon is on Instagram. Shannon, your Instagram stories, they're the best. Thank you very much.
All it is, alcohol, dogs.
I don't think you need anything else. So Americana_Alan, you can find Shannon on Instagram. I would suggest, if you like me and use the Instagram as something to make you happy, just do it. Go find Shannon on the Instagram. It will make you happy. Instagram is
post positive things for the most
you
part.
do positive things for the most part, and they're really, really great. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining. It was fantastic. I learned so much about bands. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Courtney. Yes, dear.
Instagram. I want to look it up.
It's Americana/_Alan.
No
That's
slash.
he's not on. Well, you are on Twitter, but or X, but he doesn't. He's more on Instagram than he is there. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Terry, Jamie, Louis Vasquez, which I didn't understand. Stop it before you wreck, please.
That was, I think, to Courtney with the driving.
I think that was Shannon. Actually, it was a while ago.
Just trying to be safe. He was trying to have everyone be safe. Thank you, Louis.
Okay, I thought it was a music reference, and I was beating my head around trying to figure out what he was talking about. But he was looking out for Shannon driving with no pants on, because that would have been kind of awkward if you got stopped.
And I found out I'm not the only one. Courtney does it too.
I know, right? It must be a thing.
Well, I had to leave work and go get my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awkwardly weird that you're getting your kid with no pants on, but okay, I'm okay with that.
She's a nurse. She wears scrubs.
That's true too. That's good. It's true too. So everyone, we will see you in 2 weeks. As Kyle said, go to the Going for Two network, and you will have content every day. Go to the Going for Two on the webpage, and you have content every day. Please, if you want to learn about football, if you want to make the right decisions on a obscure player that you should be drafting, you need to listen to Mr. Bob Harris at Football Diehard, because I do believe last year he hit it out of the ballpark on it, and I'm waiting for that to happen again, because my drafts, well, I only had the one draft so far, but I'm not doing 200 best ball drafts, but he knows what he's talking about, people. So jump on that right now. And everyone else, we will see you in 2 weeks.